Wild Knuckles was surprised to see 3 of his men had broken bones after being beaten by Master Chow. They also chose to leave Wild Knuckles. Wild Knuckles then untied Gru, because Wild Knuckles needs someone to do something. Wild Knuckles is willing to teach Gru how to be a supervillain. Wild Knuckles take Gru to the Bank of Evil. Gru had to do the command as Wild Knuckles taught. Suddenly Wild Knuckles pretended to be dying, and Gru asked people to help Wild Knuckles. When people were busy with Wild Knuckles, Gru opened the safe. Having managed to retrieve something from the safe, they returned to the car. Gru manages to retrieve the Mona Lisa painting. Not bad, they can make a good team. Gru loves getting compliments from his favorite supervillain. This will be fun, there's more to learn. Bob, Kevin, and Stuart return to the Wild Knuckles house at night after completing their kung fu training during the day. With kung fu style they entered the house of Wild Knuckles, but when they got inside they did not meet Gru because the house was empty. While the minions are looking for their boss in the Wild Knuckles house, from outside the house, the Vicious Six surround the house. They broke Wild Knuckles' house. Minions immediately out of the house. Now Wild Knuckles' house has been destroyed. That same night, Otto arrived in San Francisco, in Chinatown. The Chinese New Year parade is underway. Meanwhile, Wild Knuckles is shocked to learn that his house has been destroyed. Wild Knuckles couldn't believe it. Vicious Six did that to him. Wild Knuckles who taught them, they used to be a team. Wild Knuckles is sad, he is now old and alone. Gru cheers that Wild Knuckles are not alone. Wild Knuckles are smart, they can form a new team. But Gru is just a kid. Knuckles asks Gru to come home. It is all over. Gru leaves the Wild Knuckles. Gru is very sad. But Gru's sadness immediately disappeared when he heard a voice he knew very well. Gru looked at the bus window. There was Otto riding a dragon at the Chinese New Year parade in Chinatown. Gru immediately ran to Otto. They held each other and jumped happily. Otto gave the Zodiac Stone to Gru. Otto managed to rediscover the Zodiac Stone. Gru is very proud of Otto. Gru invites Otto to meet Wild Knuckles and hand over the stone. They don't have much time. But unfortunately, they have been surrounded by the Vicious Six.